We are live and we are outside live with it. Nice 4th of July weekend. Might as well go ahead and enjoy it. Like, the sun is out, the gnats are flying, and the fireworks are going to be lighting up the sky. They already was getting started last night, so it's always fun. However, hello, my people. Que pasó, mi gente? Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this? Because we put together this nice little setup today because we all understand the concepts of the fear that exists in the everyday. And the one thing that people fear most is the unknown. So if we let our perspectives be known to the actual root cause of what's causing us the doubt, then we can always restructure ourselves to get right on to where we're going, because then we won't allow anything to hold us back. Because the one thing that you have to know about fear is that what you fear becomes your limits. And if you allow those limits to stop you at every single inconvenience or every disagreement of what people are saying, then you're going to forever find yourself in a loop that holds you back from your true potential. And that's all what it's about, right? To be able to experience, you're able to experience through your own experiences. Like, yes, everyone has their ups and everyone has their downs. And no one story is more important or less important than the others. The thing is, if you allow your story to only be contained by the fear, by the aspects of, oh man, I don't do this because of this, or I don't do this because it never worked, or I don't do this because I've never heard of it before, then you literally shrink that potential every single time. And the thing about us as human beings, we always have the potential to want and to increase more value, increase more knowledge, to evolve in levels of thought process. And you find it, you see it in every day of those people caught in the same processes of life years prior, years before. So it comes down to the fact of you understanding where the fear lies within your everyday, so that way you don't shut yourself down. Because then, after a certain amount of time, it becomes habit. And if you let it become habit, then you'll simply be doing it out of habit and not understanding why life isn't going. Because you have to make it go. And it only goes when you decide to not hold yourself back. Look, I'm no stranger to it. Look, I tell everybody all the time, especially if you go to a video February 27th of 2025, you will clearly see that the same kind of person that's talking to you now is not the same kind of person that started talking to you all then. And that's the part about it, because it's only a continual level of growth. I was so awkward getting on live. I was so awkward getting on videos and wanting to talk to people. I had something to say, but I was so awkward wanting to do it. So at the end of the day, it's all about that consistent growth. Like I say, go back 1 year ago, like, and you will see that it ain't the same. But over the course, things progress, and that's all we really want, right? Because it's not about the outcome of what you get, it's what you become through that process. And if you can allow yourself to not be fear, oh, let me say, if you allow yourself to be fearless throughout that process, then you start to unlock and open all of these new aspects of what you're truly capable of. The whole aspect of us is to want to get better. Like, even if it's not in some grand fashion gesture, like I always say that you can get to any level you want to. 100,000, millions, billions, trillions, zillions, quadrillions, like they keep going. You can get any level you want. So it's all about the desired outcome of what you decide to build from it is what makes it that much more important. So that's why we're talking about the fear aspects of it, because the fear isn't anything to let you stop. It's the signals that things are going. If you're feeling nervous and anxious about a situation that you never noticed or heard of or even experienced, then that means there's something on the other side of that experience that can show you something more. Most times people either decide to, nope, I'm okay, and then leave it alone and then never experience it whatsoever. And then there's some people who actually do it and then can't handle the afterwards of how it came off, because a lot of times you experience something for the first time. Oh, you mean to tell me you experienced something for the first time and it didn't go well? Wow, what a shocker. But then people allow that one moment to shut everything down. Now they don't want to put themselves out there at all. They can't handle the embarrassment again. And there's always something to learn. So that's why getting into it and getting into that aspect of understanding how you operate under the fear, because you got to remember, the same person who can do the same thing you can and then went ahead and did it isn't no different from you. They just decided to be brave, and the definition of bravery is to just be in the moment of doing in spite of the fear. Yes, things happen, things are going to be there, inconveniences and people exist everywhere. So if you want to hide from inconveniences and you want to hide from people, good luck. It's not gonna work. Like, you have to be able to understand that there's lessons and there's teachings and there's experiences everywhere. Now, I'm not gonna say that all of them are fine and dandy. I'm not gonna say that all of them are worth it. I am saying that if you allow yourself to get caught in one, then pull the best experiences from it. So that way, on the other side of the experience, you don't allow something to go. Because the thing is, if you allow an experience to change your perspective on how you do things and operate, then you're going to be in this mode of at that level. So then you're going to have this tunnel vision of focus. And we always talk about the tunnel vision of focus. There's nothing wrong with being laser focused on what you do, what you're doing. However, you have to make sure that you're still in a sense of knowing your surroundings, because then anything that's too much is not good for you at all. Like, that's why when they speak of the sessions and the focus, it's not to literally kill yourself, because what does anyone who is driven and focused says on a regular basis? That you still need to sleep, that you still have to end up making sure that you get your 6 to 8 hours of solid rest to make sure that you're able to, because your body doesn't operate the same way on it. So that would stand to say that even through the face of that obsession and that focus, that you still take the time. Tranquilo, hermano, amiga. You gotta be easy on yourself so that way you don't burn out. What do they say? How is it that you could obtain so much wealth and then not be healthy enough to use it? Like, so you don't push yourself to get something that you won't even be able to enjoy. I always say it like, you you're this fighter, right? And you've been training and you've been going hard in the gym, preparing for the biggest bout of your life, and then you've been at it every day, put your deteriorating muscles, breaking them down, building them back, and then you get to this championship fight, you get into this ring, you go the 5 rounds, you end up winning by KO because you dug down deep and you was able to really deliver the final strike to really end it all. And then you get out of there and you're like, yeah, you got the belt, got it all, and you're walking out of the arena. And then next thing you know, the after party's waiting, everybody's celebrating, and then you crash, like, because you've been exhausted so much. It's just the aspects of understanding that pushing yourself is good. However, pushing yourself over isn't nowhere near healthy, because then you continuously do that, your body can only take so much, especially if you're somebody who isn't putting the right things in their system normally. Yeah, you got all this ambition, but you don't have the nutritional value of what your body needs to keep your energy going. So all of these things play a part. And that's why you can't let the aspects of not knowing stop you from these things. It's important to pick up the best and most knowledge that you can. So that way you can get into it the way that you do. Right? And the whole aspect of it is just really understanding the start, right? If you can start your day with a solid aspect, then that keeps you in a process of continuance, right? If you get up and you know that you have to attack the day, then you do things that allow you to get up. The one things that I always say that when you get up, breathe. That's taking those first few breaths and realize like another day I get to get at it. And I could say one of my favorite things about getting up, when I get up in the morning, I got these really cool pillows. They're like super soft. So when I'm up in the morning and I'm like taking my breaths, getting that little bit of little snuggle in, and I'm feeling these pillows, I'm like, man, these are some awesome pillows. And then I realize I'm like, all right, they help me for a nice little rest, energized and ready to go, because you got to get that, you got to take in those breaths early on. You got to get yourself hydrated, get yourself ready, and then start to attack it. So that way you put yourself already ahead of anything that can stop you. Because if they say that your mornings really control the rest of your day, I say whenever you really wake up and go about your day is what really the attitude you have, right? So I don't disagree at all. Because if you wake up and your eyes open, the first thing you do is just dreading the day, like to just get like that's a bit something. Because then now everything's gonna be a dread. Like you gotta get up, you gotta get dressed, it's a dread. You gotta brush your teeth, it's a dread. You gotta get to work and the traffic is a dread. Like so everything throughout the whole day like leaves you in that sense. And there's different levels of fear. Like fear doesn't only have to scare you. Like fear isn't always like, oh, like it's not always out to get you. Like fear is levels of procrastination. Fear is levels of doubt, of insecurities. Like all of these things have a fear factor that they play. And if you allow them to play a big part in your life on a regular, consistent basis, then it won't serve the purpose well for what is actually wanting to be done. That's why it's always a little important to make sure that even with knowing that things are out there, the day is starting, like, there are scenarios and situations that you don't want to come in contact with, that you still prepare yourself better. And of course, it's not always gonna be as sweet as it sounds. It is, I can agree, one of those easier said than done kind of moments. However, anything done over the course of repetition, of a course of time, it builds, it compounds, especially if built correctly with some proper structure and some awesome intention. That's what makes it great, because then you implement all of those things. And when we get to the fear aspect of it, we like to say that the fear isn't something that is allowing you to just like, hey, don't do that. Like, because we are instinctual beings. Like, we understand, like, nope, not the best thing that I want to do. However, if you spend your whole life going, nope, nope, not going at anything, then you still limit that same potential of what you're capable of. Because once you realize you can jump higher than a 2 feet bar and you get over it, you start to realize, like, oh, well, if I'm that active, what can I do? Like, one thing that I always say about the fear aspect, and it's one of my favorite examples, because like, I do a few gymnastics myself. Look, hold on, little few gymnastics. Woo! My form was bad because I almost lost the shades, right? Like, so, like, I almost stepped on them. They the new ones. Like I didn't want to step on them or anything. So, you know, we do a little bit of gymnastics and whatnot. Gotta get that stretch in me. You know, gotta get it. Gotta make it happen. So, I would always, like, any environments that I'm in usually, and I'm just like doing some backflips, front flips or whatnot. Like, you know, there's a couple of people who've done a backflip before or attempted one, or, you know, always seen people do it and it was like, no way. And I always, you know, encounter people that, you know, oh man, I used to know how to do a backflip and whatnot, but, you know, like I failed one day and I was just like, nope, not it. And trust me, I'm not no one that's inexperienced to that level of pain. I have done a flip and I went up and I did not finish the rotation and I came down because gravity is a biatch. And right down on my face, right down on my neck. Couple times almost had it. However, if you allow that one aspect to stop the momentum, then you will always stop in the face of like adversity. Like, and then, sorry, these gnats are out here today. You see me? I gotta almost gotta bob and weave these mother. But, you know, I've had people that I've known that, like, you know, I just can't. No, I'm not, can't do it no more. I ain't got it. And then have recently got back into it with all kinds of abilities. I got a good buddy of mine, and, you know, he's like a spring. He just boing, like he just. So when he does his backflip, he goes high, and I could see why he stopped because the way that he went, he shot up, and like if I fell from that high of how he jumps, I would probably be like, nah. To be honest, like because my boy, he got up there, so like, but then even then he started getting back into it, got awesome abilities, started to really tap into it, and one thing that you discover is the fact that like things change over time, right? You develop a different kind of perspective, you get a different form of muscles, you know, you start to understand who you are and what you like to do a little bit more. And when you're in the face of these aspects of fear, it can be troubling to get past them because the unknown, the aspects of what you're not aware of when it comes down to it. All right, that's me getting the gnats, because, you know, these they out here. Honestly, they kind of just came out. Like, I was kind of cool when I first started. So um, I do got a couple of solid points that are aspects of the fear can stop. Like, we already asked what's the purpose of the fear. Like, the purpose of the fear is to understand that you're doing something more, right? Like, it's scary because it's unknown, it's uncharted territories. So now the one thing that your body and your brain wants to do is go, ha, nope. However, through that process, you understand, like, all right, cool, something that I've never done before. All right, let me get into it. Let me understand, like, what can actually come from it. And then if I'm completely, like, you know, like, fumble, then all right, I understand that I don't have these, that, this. So if I want to, I can make that choice to build those aspects, to build that strength, to gain that knowledge, to obtain that energy for that power. So it really just comes down to what you decide to put into it. That's why I say, and this is why we talk about it on a regular, because it it has to stay fresh, right? You know, every day there's times where, like, I kind of forget and I go, man, and then, like, you know, like that little moment pass of me just, you know, man. And then a few hours later, I think about, like, how I've gotten to where I've gotten and what I've done and how I've gotten here. And then I go, yeah, all right. So then I go, like, wait a minute, why didn't I have that feeling like a couple hours ago? It's not like my life changed between then and then. Like, so why not me be able to really understand that? And oh yeah, I'm about to get rained out. That's what they were. That's what the Nats were. That's what the Nats were wanting to tell me. Like, like, but, however, let me make some solid points. I got my notes written here because I love how I always decide to like do lives and put them together, and then like I always get it like so much inconvenience. Look, the gnats are going crazy now because the rain's coming down. Funny enough, I got like this cool umbrella. I don't want my book to get wet. I got this cool umbrella that would have been like so perfect. I thought about getting it, but you know, yeah, I think it seems like it's only a cloud, so we're gonna rock out with it live in the rain. Yeah. That's what I say. That umbrella, I thought about grabbing it. I was like, yo, I can go grab it real quick. It'd be nice. And I was like, all right, future setups. But we always in the live. It's always something with the live. I'm gonna do a little cover over the phone. So the aspects of fear, yeah, like really getting into it. I mean, the rain washed out the gnats, so that's fun. Like, but, hey. I think it may be a nice little cloud, so we may rock on a little bit, just a little cover. So I mean, yeah, like we always want to set up the live, so it's nice. So the office was locked because of the 4th of July, like me forgetting that entirely. And then like I was like, all right, I'll go outside, I'll have some fun outside. And now we got some fun rain, But yeah, like you can't let the inconveniences always get you. I know last week it was something with the connection, like, and I was like, okay, cool. Can't really do much on technology. Can't really do much about weather. But we're into it. I don't think it's gonna be stopping anytime soon. So. What we say best, keep the focus, keep the knowledge, and do what you do. I will see my people when it's not dripping rain. Stay blessed. Talk to you all.